Right, so I think we're going to move on to a bit of Engage news now, aren't we? And we've got quite a few new releases here on the table, and the first of which is the brand new Class 26, which has just come into stock.
It has been absolutely non-stop for Engage news in 2020 so far. There's been so much coming through for so many different modelers, and this is the time for the diesel modeler from the 1960s right up to the 1990s. I think it's been about 8 or 9 years since the Class 26 was last in the range as well. So to get these new liveries through, this is the first two, with more being promised soon in the future. You've got BR Blue and Rail Freight Coal coming through as well. But the first two we see here on the screen right now are BR Green and the Rail Freight livery there as well. So this really is almost the start and the end of the 26's career.
I was going to say, it's quite nice that these are the first two to have come through, because it does bookend the history of the class there a little bit. Like you say, you've got as built condition there in the BR Green, and pretty much in the twilight years of its life, as it was coming to its end in the sort of 80s and early 90s there in the Rail Freight colour scheme. And as Dave mentioned, there will be more variations to come. I believe there's 2 or 3 more coming through. So there's a bit more there to cover some of the rest of the history, but these really do. It is the start and the very end here, so it's kind of great that we've got these here.
And this really is quite an iconic class for those of you who model the Scottish scene as well. Although they did actually start in the London suburbs. They were one of the first Type 2 diesels brought into British Rail use in 1958. There's actually 47 of them built, and they started right down in London, working out of King's Cross and Fenchurch Street. But very quickly, things changed in London. They needed more powerful locomotives for bigger services. Found new work for these locomotives, and all of them headed up to Scotland then, where they really made the name. In fact, their nickname, the McRat, is almost a Scottish play on words as well. So they were used right up until the early 1990s. But if you were in Scotland from the late 1960s onwards, you would have seen one of these all over the place.
I was going to say, it's one of the definitive locos of Scotland, this really, isn't it? And as you stated, this was one of the pilot scheme locomotives, so it was almost a bit of an experiment in a way, wasn't it, to see what was going to work. And obviously they really did. Obviously not where they initially intended for them to be in London, but they did do the job well down there, and then they moved straight up to Scotland. So becoming one of those iconic locomotives of Scotland. And Dapol's really done a fantastic job again with getting these back into the range, and they've replicated it very nicely here, as you can see from the photos and from the models in front of us. You've got a really nice amount of detail here, great underframe detail, which you'll be able to see high quality photos of on our website if you check out the link in the description. Really nice end detail on these as well, and the liveries are picked out very nicely. They really do stand out on this model.
But one thing, if you take a closer look at these as well, they do have the different tooling variations for the as-built locomotives and the refurbished locomotives too, with the difference in the end doors on there as well. There's a lot more detailing you can put on the as-built version, such as the headcode discs and the lighting as well there, and Dapol have catered for that. But they've also updated the chassis for this release too. It's now got an 18-pin digital socket as well, so really easy to get a decoder in there, really easy to change that over, and of course we do offer them pre-DCC fitted as well. But these two are available to order right now for $112.76, with the other liveries, the BR Blue and the Rail Freight Coal, coming through later in spring.
Well, you touched on a little earlier, didn't you, that this is a model we've not seen for nearly coming up to a decade now in the main range. So Dapol have given this a bit of a spruce up and a bit of a return to service with a new chassis there, and of course digital capability. And obviously you've got quite a few other features here as well, which is carried over. You've got your full lighting in there, comprehensive detail and pack with headcode discs included as well, which is fantastic really, so you can fully detail it up to exactly how you need it to be. And of course you touched on, you've got those tooling variations in there as well, so it's completely accurate to the real thing.
And the good thing for these locos is they will fit right in anyone's who's already a diesel modeler in Engage. They'll fit right in with your collection just because of the diverse work that they did. Those suburban passenger trains coming in from London there as well, working with Mark 1 coaches, and the suburban coaches that you can get in Engage coming right up to Scotland are paired with Mark 1 coaches again, but only small rakes, maybe 3s and 4s of the coaches. The freight they hauled in Scotland was pretty much anything that needed moving. We covered the whiskey grain hoppers earlier in the stream as well, so they could have ran with those. But otherwise, the whole works essentially. A lot of the mixed freight that went around the Highlands, a lot of the mixed freight that went around the Lowlands as well, so pretty much everything. But also, towards the end of their life, they got dedicated to working some of the heavy coal duties around Scotland as well. So the 26s have had a go at pretty much everything, really. So if you've got an N-Gage collection, 1960s to 1990s, I challenge you not to have something that you can run with the 26s, really. They really are that diverse. And the locos themselves, 5-pole motor in there too. They can haul pretty much anything you put behind them. The lighting's great. They've got full digital capacity too. They're just a great addition to anyone's N-Gage collection.
I think it's a phrase that gets bandied around a lot, but it really does apply to this locomotive, is go anywhere, do anything, which is something within railways, you always hear it about certain locos, but it really does apply to the Class 26. As you say, everything. It was just the ultimate mixed traffic locomotive, really, wasn't it? And saw use from every part of Scotland, right up on the far north line, up into Inverness and beyond up to Wick and Thurso in the lowlands too, and even a bit further south down towards Carlisle and that sort of region as well. There's a lot of photos of it working services like that. So it fits in on a huge amount of layouts, really, this one.
And of course, that popularity has made them really prominent in preservation as well, so you can still see the real-life locos to this day.
Plenty out there, aren't there?
All across the UK, actually. There's still quite a few in their native Scotland, but because you can pop one on a low loader and take it around the country, so to speak, I believe there was one last year in Cornwall as well, and various places. There's one based in Wales at the Llangollen Railway too.
There were a few holidays there then, aren't
So they're all over the place as well. So even if you're not a Scottish modeller, in preservation, you've got the BR Greens, you've got the rail freight liveries, as you see here as well. So some really great opportunities to get them a little bit off the usual territory. But again, as you said, go anywhere, do anything.
That's it. The ultimate phrase for these, I think. We've got a few comments here on the 26. We've got Anthony Lloyd says rail freight livery looks nice, which it certainly does. It's really it's one of those obviously just really
brings out the shape
class
for me of the 26
Yeah.
with a red stripe there as well.
It was destined for it, really. We've got Joe Light Railway says he'd like to buy the rail freight livery version and the nice models to have in a train pack with some coal wagons again. But of course, if you did want to buy them, get a full train now, there's plenty of different options on our website if you have an explore through the wagons and the coaches section too, because as Dave pointed out, they ran with anything.
Yes.
So pretty much anything from late 50s, 60s up to the 90s in N-Gage, you could probably run it with one of these. We've got Onno Mulder says nice loco, the Class 26, and he likes them in Dutch livery with a large logo. So kind of obviously with the rail freight grey there as well, it's a bit of a similarity to the Dutch there.
Yeah.
And then we've got Clive Cobbold says he's got a photo of a Class 26 sitting at Stranraer Harbour in 1984. So that must be a fantastic photo.
I can imagine that'll be a nice BR Blue 26, maybe with a steam heat boiler in there as well. A couple of Mark 1s. That's something nice to think about. Just a really nice mental image there. Now,
tapping into the encyclopedia there, aren't we? So that's the thing, though, is there's a lot of fantastic photos out there. We've got some on our website and on our social media as well of the 26s in service and most of the other releases that you see coming through. We tried to get some really nice prototype images on there. But if you do have an Explorer online, check out Flickr, check out Wikipedia as well. There's a lot of really great prototype photos, and it can give you some fantastic ideas for modelling on your layout too. Quite often, a lot of these, a lot of the rolling stock will be available to purchase, or it might be something that's coming in the future. So get a few ideas there from your prototype images, and then you can apply that to your layout as well.
Some really good points there, actually, as well. Have a look, and life imitates art.
That's it.